Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another Digimon video. So over this past weekend I participated in quite a lot of pre-release events. Most of them were online and most of the online ones were 1.5. So I just wanted to say goodbye to 1.5 with playing in a lot of those events, and a lot of those events were really fun. But I also was able to get together with a couple of friends and we were actually able to do a proper pre-release in person, and it was just a lot of fun to be a part of. My pulls weren't necessarily super great. I only pulled 2 SRs, but that's just how luck is sometimes, and my deck wasn't anything too exciting. It was just literally me just playing cards just to play cards, and I was just using all Digimon, just trying to get as much value out of the Digimon as I possibly can. So this is just a quick flash of my deck, and it was definitely a pretty interesting experience. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a great experience, but a lot of my friends were just really new to the game, so it really just helped them learn a lot of the game relatively quickly, and the only thing that they have to really mentally change going into like a real constructed environment is the fact that they actually have to care about colors. So that's the only big difference. I think all of my friends just decided to play all Digimon and maybe like 1 or 2 Tamers, just because options were a little bit too clunky and hard to utilize, but my deck was just a very basic humdrum, let me just slam Digimons and play cards. So nothing too special there, and it was just all casual considering we were all friends, so we weren't really worried about playing for prizes. But outside of that, I also played in 3 online events. Again, they were all 1.5 format, so I finally get to say goodbye to 1.5, and what better way to cap off saying goodbye to 1.5 than doing well in all 3 events that I participated in. So the first event that I participated in, I took 8th place with a purple Metalgarurumon deck, and it was basically just the purple Metalgarurumon deck where I was using Mastimon as basically a pseudo Anubismon, and I was just trying to gain as much value as I possibly can out of trying to res my cards as consistently as I possibly can, trying to make a very powerful board state and utilizing a lot of my pieces to just try to control the opponent while aggressing at the same time. So it's just your very basic purple deck where it's just playing some like very classical stuff. So it wasn't doing anything too special, but it was still just performing relatively well, and my matches were all super great. I did end up losing my only game in that event to Dan Vang, and he was playing Blue Imperial, but outside of that, I was able to beat a lot of different decks, including Security Control, with this style of deck. So this is definitely a really powerful deck, and I'm excited to see what this deck is going to do in BT04. And then the second event that I participated in, I decided to change things up, and I took yellow ShineGraymon. I know you're seeing Cherubimon here, but Cherubimon was my spicy tech card, just because I really like the card, and I think he has some really good combo play, and he's definitely a really slept-on card, just because people don't really realize what he could be doing, and especially in this type of meta, on what value he could bring to the deck. So I mainly wanted to tech in Cherubimon as a way to recover in my ShineGraymon deck, and the important thing about his recovery style of ability is it's pulling cards from my grave, putting it on top, which then I could utilize in some very powerful ways with TK or Lotmon to then add it back to my hand. Or the other tech card that I was running in my ShineGraymon deck was Ankylomon, so I could be like Cherubimon and Ankylomon, and that was just super clutch. It didn't really happen a whole lot, and Cherubimon only being my tech 1 of didn't exactly happen a whole lot, but the few times it did happen, it felt very good, and this ShineGraymon deck, especially with Cherubimon, was actually able to beat Security Control just because I'm actually recovering from my grave and not my deck, so I was able to prevent me from being decked out in that matchup just because Cherubimon's recovery is from the grave. So Cherubimon was putting in a decent amount of work there, but outside of that, it is just your stereotypical Shine deck, really doing nothing too special. The only other difference between my Shine deck and most other people's Shine decks outside of these small tech cards is the fact that I'm only running 9 Tamers. I know, blasphemy, some people like 10, some people like 11, some people I've seen even run 12. But I just felt like 9 was pretty clutch. Even though I didn't see them as much as I wanted to, I saw them enough, and because of the way Shine likes to play, it was just good enough to like take the event. And the only time I can't really say it was a loss, but my only draw was to a Shine Mirror, where we just went 1-1-1, and then that just locked me out of getting first place. But I was still able to take second place with that event due to tiebreakers and win rates, so it was just a really good event to be a part of, and it was definitely a lot of fun. I think there was like 26 people in that event, so it was relatively small, but it was still a ton of fun to be a part of. And then in the last event that I participated in, it was back at Animepavilion, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but the second event was at Petiparty Games. The first event was at Animepavilion, and then, like I said, the third event was back at Animepavilion. And once again, I decided to change things up, and I took Ragna. Not just any Ragna, it's Black Ragna. I just want to play a different deck in each of the events just to see how well I could do with all of the different decks that I currently have built. So I ended up taking third place in the second Animepavilion event, and again, my only loss was to Dan Vang. I went 4-0 until the final round where I lost, and that put me in third place, again to Dan Vang playing, again, Blue Imperial. But outside of that, I was still able to put in a lot of work with this deck, and this deck definitely is a really powerful deck. The one thing that I'm trying to do with this deck is there is no Omnimon Alter S. It is 100% raw Ragnalordmon. So part of it was just me being lazy and not wanting to take apart my Red Omni, just to try to make my Ragnalordmon deck as powerful as it possibly could. But regardless, the Ragnalordmons definitely were still super powerful, and I definitely really like what this deck was doing. So some of my clutch tech cards that some people might not have realized that they could be playing is I was playing Metalgarurumon just because I knew I wasn't playing that Omnimon Alter S, so I wanted a way to add my Ragnalordmons back to my hand in case they were deleted. And this card did end up doing a lot of work, especially since one of my wins was against a Megazoo player, where he literally gave me a whole bunch of memory. I hard played a Ragnalordmon, yes, I hard played a naked Ragnalordmon, and then my Ragnalordmon was just chipping away at his security, and then when it got deleted, I was able to set up a clutch Digivolve into Metalgarurumon to add the Ragnalordmon back to my hand. So that was just a huge tech card that definitely came in a lot of handy, even as a tech 1-of, and it's still good for the deck just because it's playing with Reboot, and I am still running the Greymon package, so it just works very well with the deck overall. And then outside of that, it's just your very stereotypical Ragnalordmon deck, except the one big difference is I am playing a 1-of of Volcanic and a 1-of of High Andro, just because I really like the tempo efficiency of High Andromon, where if they try to leave me at 2, think that I can't go into Rag, I could be like, haha, surprise, High Andromon, go into Rag anyway. Or if they're like going wide, then I could just play Volcanic and wipe their field. Volcanic was definitely more of a card that just didn't really feel like it felt super great to play, but again, it seems like it's more of a matchup thing, and if this card was in my hand, which it was, it kind of just felt like a dead card for the most part, but it did have some play and it does have some use, so I definitely still like the utility there, especially as a tech 1-of. Outside of that, it's just your very basic Ragnalordmon deck for black, where I'm just trying to make my stack as powerful as I possibly can, and just do a whole bunch of security checks, and, you know, just do the Ragnalordmon thing. I ended up taking third place with that event, and it was, again, just a lot of fun. Everyone was super chill, and I was actually shocked on how well this deck was performing. So with that, I'm really excited to see what is going to be coming out of BT04, and I'm definitely excited to see all of the new decks that are going to be popping up, especially thanks to all of the new promos that we're getting pushed up in our BT04, and I definitely think BT04 is going to be a really fun format to be playing in, and I'm definitely super stoked and super excited. I'm not entirely sure exactly what deck I want to build, just because there's so many decks to build, and there's so much fun things to be had in the set that it's just hard to lock myself down to one deck. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be playing, but I'm probably going to just do what I've always done and just play borderline everything that I could or everything that I feel like and see how I do and see what sticks and what doesn't. But outside of that, I hope everyone had a great pre-release weekend. I hope everyone's polls were good, and I'm excited to see and hear about everyone's polls in BT04. And I hope that my polls for BT04 are definitely going to be as good as they possibly can, so that way we could all have some fun. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are different ways that you could support me in the channel. So one of those ways is I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so whenever you use that affiliate link to buy cards off of tcgplayer.com, then some of the money will go to supporting me in the channel. And on top of which, I also do stream over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu. So following and subbing is a good way to support me over on that platform as well. And on top of that, I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook. So whenever you buy one of my designs through them, then some of that money will also help go to supporting me in the channel. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.